Hello, and welcome to another episode of Now We're Talking. Is that our name? Now We're Talking?
It
It's
is.
been so long I've forgotten it.
I know, right?
Hi, I'm Scott,
I'm Julie.
and we're going to try to lighten things up a little bit from our previous episode. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I don't know, Julie had the great idea that we should probably maybe try to do something a little more fun, maybe in the festive holiday spirit,
Right.
kind of keep things
Yeah.
light and
I think everybody needs a lift up.
yeah. So we're going to start off. We've got just some odds and ends to talk about, some little news stories that we came across over the last couple of days, and then I think we're going to talk about we decided to make a list, right, of our top 5 Christmas or holiday. I don't know if you have any Hanukkah songs, like Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel is one of your favorite
no
songs.
Hanukkah, but I could have done that.
Anyway, of your top 5 Christmas songs, and then we've got a couple honorable mentions in there as well because it's hard to limit.
Really hard.
Julie found it so hard that she had to pick the same song twice.
Because they're by different artists and they're both excellent. So
When we get to it, we'll talk, because I almost had a similar incident. So the first one is the first story I want to talk about, and for those of you who are old enough to remember or have watched WKRP in Cincinnati and reruns, there's a pretty famous episode where they decide to do a turkey drop, and they drop turkeys out of a helicopter over a shopping center.
right.
And your intrepid newsman Les Nessman is there and just reporting on it, and it's just one of the funniest things ever, because the bottom line is that turkeys can fly for short distances, but not out of a helicopter. And so it just rains terror on the shopping center. And of course, Nessman's there saying, "Oh, the humanity," and it's just the carnage as these turkeys fall out of the helicopter.
Onto the ground.
And thud. And then it cuts to later, and they're back at the radio station, and what's the manager? He's the son of the owner, Carlson.
Yeah.
Says, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. So I found this story on the Associated Press about this woman in Alaska who is doing a turkey drop. The turkeys are already dead. They're frozen, and she wraps them up in just basically in trash bags and flies low in her plane over these houses that are basically cut off, out in the wilderness, and drops turkeys out of the plane to these houses.
Frozen
turkeys. Yeah, I mean, she flies low and slow. Yeah, I guess probably as slow as the plane, so it doesn't stall.
Right.
But she makes about 30 to 40 turkey deliveries yearly, and she waits. She'll fly over the house and make sure that the people are out there and see her, know.
Yeah.
And she says that she won't drop the turkey till we see them come out of the house or the cabin, because if they don't see it fall, they're not going to know where to look.
Right.
Because it's going to fall in the snow.
Right.
So she tries to. They said turkey was once missing for 5 days before it was found in the snow.
I guess it's still frozen though.
Yeah, I mean, she said she just leaves them in the back of her truck, and she buys the turkeys and leaves them in the back of the truck because.
But I mean, even if you don't find it right away, it's still.
Yeah, it's in the snow. It's not going to. It's not like it's going to thaw out or anything in Alaska. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. When I saw this story, that's all I could think of was the WKRP in Cincinnati.
Right.
So I think it's kind of cool, though. It's a very nice thing that she's doing.
It is.
She takes donations for them to buy the turkeys and stuff. So I thought that was a kind of a fun story.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
Let's see. The other one that I wanted to tell about is, and I had seen the story. I had heard about it somewhere, but in California, there was a like it basically it turns out to be insurance fraud. That the California Insurance Department said four LA residents were arrested Wednesday accused of defrauding 3 insurance companies out of nearly $142,000 by claiming a bear had caused damage to their vehicles. So they provided video footage from the San Bernardino Mountains in January of a bear moving inside a Rolls Royce and 2 Mercedes. And they provided this video footage to insurance companies as part of their damage claims. The photos that showed appeared to be scratches on the seats and doors. And so what they found out is, the insurance companies found out, is that it wasn't a bear. It was just a guy in a bear costume.
Why would you do that, though?
I don't know, man. I guess they wanted some work done on their cars, and because it's insurance fraud. They filed these claims to the insurance company.
Because they wanted new seats in their car?
I guess, or something.
A new paint job or something?
Yeah, it doesn't say, but they just had a guy dressed up in a bear costume and acted like it was a bear attack.
I guess it almost worked.
They could have got away with it. It wasn't for those.
How did they catch him?
So the company viewing the video of the Rolls Royce suspected it wasn't a bear inside, but someone inside a costume. Detectives found 2 additional claims with 2 different insurance companies with the same date of loss and at the same location. Similar video. I haven't seen the video, but it must have been pretty obvious that it was a bear. It was a dude in a bear costume.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. A dude in a bear costume. So the other story I came across, I thought this was really kind of cool.
It's crazy.
This is one of those like if you kind of believe that like there's like sisters, or I mean I usually hear about like twins or something. And these aren't twins, but these 2 sisters, like the people like have like this connection, and it's just sort of like a weird I guess they're probably just coincidences, but like there's anyway, we'll get to the story. These 2 half sisters, they never met until they did a DNA. They both did DNA tests on Ancestry.com, and they were matched up there.
Didn't know each other prior.
Had no idea.
Okay.
No idea. They just both spit into a tube and send it to Ancestry.com, and they're like, hey, you guys are, half sisters or whatever, however it said it. So there are a lot of kind of weird parallels between their lives. So these 2 half sisters, there's Nicole and Jessica.
Okay.
Jessica had a son that she named Nicholas.
Okay.
Nicole had a daughter that she named Jessica.
Oh, wow.
Had never met each other, had no idea. And the one sister didn't even know that, she didn't know that the man that she called her father her whole life wasn't her father.
Oh.
The other woman, she shared a father with this other woman, and all of their parents are dead.
Okay.
So they have no idea.
Can't ask questions.
Can't ask how.
Yeah.
So one of the other cool little coincidences is of course Nicole, Nicholas, Jessica and Jessica.
Yeah.
They both have the same middle name.
But let me back up. So based on their DNA matches, they decided to meet up at some point and get to know each other.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They both have the same middle name.
Okay.
What was the other? There was another one. Let me go back to find the story. There was another. Oh, yeah. Both of their mothers died from a drug overdose.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Well, sad.
I mean, it's sad, but I mean, it's just kind of like.
that the father just seemed to identify or kind of gravitate to those kind of women, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
They both have the same dad, right?
Yeah, they have the same dad.
All right.
Yeah, because both of Jessica's parents died years before the two sisters met, and Nicole's dad, who was also Jessica's biological father, passed away 20 years ago. I don't know. It's just kind of cool, though. Like, you just kind of wonder about, and you know, usually hear these stories about like twins who like know when something's happened to the other one or something, and it's just kind of like one of those similar stories that I thought was just kind of interesting.
Are they in the States?
They are. One lives in Florida and one lives in Michigan, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, one lives in Michigan, one lives in Florida.
I think there's so much good to be learned from DNA testing, and I think there's also just a little bit of, oh my God, I don't want to know this from DNA testing.
Yeah, I know. So we're in the middle of football season. And speaking of the Bears, this is also not real Bears.
Oh, I was wondering what that segue is going to be.
I know, right?
Okay.
I should have done the stories in a different order. That segue would have worked a lot better.
Yeah.
So
a sharp right turn right there.
I don't know if you saw that the Bears fired their head coach.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of funny. You know, the game on Thanksgiving was just the disastrous end. They couldn't get a playoff because, and you know, it's kind of like they blamed the coach, but I actually kind of blame the team.
Yeah.
Now it's the coach's fault because he didn't prepare them for it, but like they only had one timeout left. They needed to hold that timeout to be able to kick a field goal. So they should have the play that resulted in a sack. They should have gotten back to line up quickly and run another play, maybe get a few yards, and then try to kick a field goal, tie the game, go to overtime. But
they just dilly-dallied around.
Dilly-dally is the perfect term for it. So the interesting thing about this is they promoted their offensive coordinator to head coach.
Okay.
That happens a lot.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. He was the interim offensive coordinator because their OC was fired earlier in the year.
Oh, yikes.
So now the interim offensive coordinator is now the interim head coach.
Yeah.
And I just said, you don't want to be the next guy in line.
Right.
You know,
we know how this will end.
GM Ryan Poles should be worried because soon it'll be interim GM Thomas Brown.
Get your resume ready.
Yeah. I don't know if he can be interim owner of the team, but he's going to work his way up the ladder and be interim everything.
Yeah.
So this other interesting thing is, and as much as I hate social media and I'm addicted to it, like once in a while I find like somebody will post something, and I'll go like, that can't be true, and I'll go and look and go, that is true. And I only wrote one down for our notes today, but there are two of them, and we talked about one yesterday.
Yeah.
The origins of the term Black Friday.
Right.
Everybody thinks that it's, well, I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people think that it means that this is when retailers go
from red to black.
Right. This is when they make all their money the next 4 weeks.
Right.
Well,
that's what I thought.
I did too. Well, it turns out that the term comes from Philadelphia, from the police officer, in Philadelphia, the Army Navy game was played in Philadelphia every year, and it was played on the weekend after Thanksgiving. And so they would bring like all kinds of tourists and stuff into the city, and it would lead to people, go to stores and buying stuff. It would lead to traffic jams. It would lead to shoplifting and all kinds of problems. So it was a rough weekend for the police, and they termed it Black Friday.
Okay.
So that's where it actually originated. I didn't believe that. Found it online by reputable sources that's where it turned from. But now, of course, everybody, like you said, thinks of it in terms of going from
the financial.
For the stores.
Huh.
The other thing is that I saw somebody talking about how they don't like to tip like waiters, servers in restaurants.
Why?
I don't know. That doesn't matter. But what I did find out, and I thought this was interesting, is that California doesn't have a tip credit minimum wage. So if people don't know, tip credit minimum wage is the difference between is a lower minimum wage for employees in roles that are traditionally tipped.
Okay.
And so the federal minimum wage is what, $7.50 an hour, which is criminal.
Right.
But the tip credit minimum wage is like $2.35.
Okay.
And basically the reason that you get any wages at all is so that you can be taxed on it.
Right.
So if you're the way it works is if you're a waiter,
Yeah.
I mean, at least the restaurants that I worked in that are above board and want to stay on the good side of the IRS, you have to declare your tips,
Right.
right? And the restaurant as a whole has to it has to declare the tips of its employees to a certain percentage of its sales.
Okay.
So if it's I forget the exact percentage, but let's say 15%. So if you do $10,000 in sales, there has to be $1,500 in tips declared by the employees.
Okay.
And we used to have to tell people you need to declare more, you're not declaring enough, based on your sales. I mean, we didn't really try to police it as long as the restaurant stayed above the number.
Yeah.
So anyway, the whole idea, like I said, is that when you get paid your $2.35 an hour, is that the government can take out the taxes on the tips that you declared.
Oh.
So I mean, I servers working for me that their paychecks were always zero because they declared so much, they made so much in tips and declared it that they just never got a paycheck.
Oh.
Paychecks were zero. So anyway, California now does not have a tip credit minimum wage. Everybody who's on, whether you're tipped or not, you get the same minimum wage.
Huh.
In California, which is kind of interesting. And we've talked about this before, offline. I tip.
Right.
I use the Steve Martin line from My Blue Heaven. I don't believe in tipping. I believe in over tipping.
Right.
I mean.
Yeah, I've seen you tip, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh!"
But and it's just because having been in the business, I know.
Well, and I was a waitress too, so I get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
At the country club.
Right.
Well,
are you trying to disparage me?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. But I get annoyed by the where you feel pressure to tip everywhere.
Right.
And the person who was kind of being a jerk online about it, they were saying that they think that you shouldn't tip at all. And I think that that's really, there's some truth to that. There's some, because when we go out to eat, we're subsidizing the restaurant owner.
Right.
We're saying hey, don't worry about paying your employees. We'll take care of that for you.
Right.
So I think that people should be paid a living wage.
Right. And that's what I was going to say too. I'm trying to hold my tongue over here.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it feels, if everybody was paid a living wage, we could take tips off the table.
Right.
But we know that's not the case. And there is still that element of servers, you want your server to give you great service, keep your water glass full, be attentive and that sort of thing. So there's a reward process in place,
right.
for that too. So I get the foundation of tipping, and I think I wouldn't necessarily be an advocate of seeing it go away, but I also think people should be able to be paid a living wage. And if they're not performing to the restaurant standards, then they get written up in the whole 9 yards, like every other company in the world, and the poor performers go. Right.
Because if you go out now and you get bad service and you don't leave a tip, right, or you leave 5% or something like that,
yeah,
what lesson has that
learned?
Right. There's no. You don't know me. You don't know that normally I tip 20%, but because you were very bad at your job,
yeah,
I didn't.
Tip.
All you think is, that person was cheap.
Right. And the owner doesn't know anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I think that or I'd like to think that with not having a tip credit minimum wage is those places where you wouldn't normally leave a gratuity, you're not pressured to leave a gratuity.
Yeah.
Because you know that at least they're making that $16 an hour. And that's minimum wage in California, $16 an hour.
Yeah. Well,
it's not $7.50 or whatever
right.
Federal minimum wage is.
Yeah. Those fucking liberals. Sorry, you cut that out. I will tell you this. I said, in a previous marriage, we went, I don't even remember where we were, but we ate at an outside restaurant. And when we left, my husband then paid the tab. I didn't pay attention at all to what was happening in the tip. But we got up and we left, and the waitress literally chased us out down the sidewalk and was screaming at us what was wrong with the service, because she didn't get a tip, or at least a tip relevant to what she thought she should have. And I was so humiliated, embarrassed, because it was a long sidewalk, lots of tables. And so this was happening in front of other patrons. And I was just like mortified. And I remember walking away from that going, oh my gosh, she wasn't a great waitress. I remember that. And I remember thinking in that moment, well, you got what you deserved.
Right.
And now you're trying to embarrass me. So now I feel like we shouldn't have left you anything at this point, because you're just being a bitch. But here we are. And I mean, that whole situation has stuck with me these many 25 years.
That is crazy. She should have been fired for that.
She should have, but I mean, she created a huge scene in front of everybody, and I was so embarrassed. Just
oh my god! And what did I assume that was Bob?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He just like keep walking. So we just walked onto the car.
There's no way I keep walking. I'm surprised that he did.
I think we were just both in shock that it was happening.
I'm sure.
We just didn't know what that is happening here.
For the cameras or something.
Right? Are we being spooked? It's like a...
Is that what was that show? What would you do?
Right. It's crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Cool. So, I think what we like the main topic we want to talk about, like I said, our top 5 favorite Christmas songs. So let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we'll talk about our honorable mentions, and then we'll reveal our number 1 favoritist all-time Christmas song.
Okay. All right. Who's going first?
Ladies first.
So I'm going number 5 first?
That would be correct.
All right. So my number 5 is Step Into Christmas by Elton John.
Good song.
Well, anything by Elton John, it's always going to be precious to me. Number 4 would be Please Come Home for Christmas, and that's a relatively new one by Teddy Swims. I mean, the song isn't new, but and then number 3 is Last Christmas by Wham, and probably everybody knows that one, but. And then number 2 is Carol of the Bells by Lindsey Stirling.
Is there any reason why you picked? Because some of these songs are like everybody knows like the Step Into Christmas is Elton John and like you said Wham! Last Christmas.
Right.
But is there any reason you picked Lindsey Stirling's Carol of the Bells over any other 100
I think
versions?
She's super talented. I love listening to her play her violin. It's violin, right? Yeah, violin.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with her work.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh my gosh, you should listen to her.
Okay.
So good. Yeah, I think she's just super talented, and I would love to see her in concert, because I think she doesn't just sit in a chair and play. She's all over the stage, and she moves, and she feels the music, and it's incredible to watch. But
cool.
And then number 1 is Old City Bar by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And I just tear up every time I hear it. Doesn't matter if I listen to it 3 times in a row. I I still just, it touches me so much.
Can I just say, when I gave you the assignment to give me your top 5, I knew that would be
one of my top 5.
Yeah.
If not my number 1.
Yeah, 1 or 2 would have been my guess.
I think it's such a, you have to really listen to the lyrics, but if you want to arrange it, this world, you can change it. If we could somehow make this Christmas thing last by helping a neighbor or even a stranger to know who needs help, you need only just ask.
If you want to arrange it, this world you can change it. If we could somehow make this Christmas thing last by helping a neighbor, even a stranger, to know who needs help. You need only.
And I think those words are so important right now. And always, really. I just love that song. So, okay, I'm getting verklempt.
Okay, well, you forgot to do your honorable mentions.
Oh, so my honorable mentions. Well, one of them is the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. Number 2 is Christmas Canon, also by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And number 3 is Do You Hear What I Hear? Our dog is walking across the floor.
Yeah, we hear the click, click, click of nails on the floor.
Do you hear what I hear? And there's a Bocelli family with pentatonics that I love. And also, and you can laugh if you want, I don't care, Clay Aiken has a new album out for Christmas, and he does such an incredible job with this song. So I love them both. I have them. We are going to Vegas for Christmas this year, and I created a playlist, and I have them both on my playlist, and I don't care if they're repeats. They're several songs apart, but they're both deserving of my playlist. So
they're worthy.
It. They're worthy.
Okay. All right. Cool. It's a good
yours?
list. That's a good list.
It is.
All right. So number 5 is Little Drummer Boy by David Bowie, Bing Crosby. I don't know if you ever... They used to play this all the time on MTV. This little clip from, I guess it was a Christmas special. And they were both on it. I don't even know. I don't even remember. I probably saw the whole thing at some point, but way back in my memory. But Bowie and Bing Crosby, like Bing Crosby comes to Bowie's house is the whole premise, and they talk about what their families do at Christmas, and make some silly jokes, and it's completely awkward. It's just the most awkward thing with David Bowie and Bing Crosby. Like, I don't know, but they do this version of Little Drummer Boy that I just love. Like, it's like they stop with the awkward talking and get down to the singing part. Yeah, and it's just a great.
Well, I have an Epic Collabs playlist. I need to add that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Number 4 for me is, of course, from Handel's Messiah. The Hallelujah Chorus. This was, and I talked about this in a recent blog post that I did about how. Well, I don't want to get into the whole thing about the blog post, but I use the Hallelujah Chorus as an example of it, and I remember. I'll tell the brief story. 1 year for Christmas, I got a stereo. Parents gave me a receiver and the big cabinet speakers.
Right.
And I'd bought a CD player when I was at school, when those things were new.
Right.
In 1991, I guess this was. And I brought it. I used it at my roommate's stereo at school, and I brought it home at Christmas time. I bought a few CDs. One of them was Handel's Messiah, or parts of it. And I remember setting up that stereo and blasting the Hallelujah Chorus. And there's just this part in there where, like, this trumpet, it's just so pure, this note, and it like chills down your spine. And I remember playing for my mom and stuff, and just these newfangled digital discs.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just especially when it's done well, it's just just an amazing piece of music.
Yeah, I wish you could hear it now.
Yeah. For number 3 is also going to go with your theme of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's This Christmas Day. And this is from the same album that Old City Bar is. It's 2 songs later, and it's just the continuation of the story. The Old City Bar, the girl is trying to find her way home.
Right.
And I get verklempt.
Yeah.
And then in This Christmas Day, she's home, and her father is overjoyed.
Yeah.
And so it gets me every time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then number 2 is kind of a newer song, at least for me. It's called Driving Home for Christmas. It's by an artist, Chris Rea. Outside of this, I don't know any of his work. I should probably look him up sometime and see what else he's done. Because I really like this. It's kind of like a bluesy sort of song. And I don't know, it just makes you think about going home for Christmas. And so anyway, that's number 3. And then let's see, I'll do it in the correct order. My honorable mentions. My first one is actually what I call the dishonorable mention. I know this song is very, very problematic. But Baby It's Cold Outside is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, the rapey song?
Huh? The rapey song, yeah. What's in this drink is not a good line anymore.
Right.
But I still like it, and I like the Lady A or Lady Annabelle version of it.
Yeah.
A little country kick to it, but
Yeah.
I do like it. I have 2 other quick honorable mentions. Do They Know It's Christmas? It's not the best song in the world, but how it was put together and the reason behind it and everything, I think makes it a wonderful song for the Christmas time. And then to round out my honorable mentions, another Trans-Siberian Orchestra is Christmas Sarajevo 1224, which is just this rock and metal version of Tchaikovsky's part of the Nutcracker Suite, and I just think it's really cool.
It's really good.
I really like when like bands, like especially like TSO is really famous for, because they do like Flight of the Bumblebee and like other classical works that they just turn into like metal.
Yeah.
But well done and approachable metal, not thrash kind of stuff. So then my number 1 song is by Greg Lake, and it's I Believe in Father Christmas. And just like you had for the Old City Bar, there's a message in this song that I think is important. They said there'd be snow at Christmas. They said there'd be peace on earth, but instead it just kept on raining. A veil of tears for the virgin birth. And I mean, I don't know. It just gets me every time. I think it's a beautiful song, and it carries a message in it that I think that we can do better with.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's it. And you're talking about how for Do You Hear What I Hear? You had 2 versions. There's another version, Little Drummer Boy, but I can't ever find it. Alex Lifeson, the guitarist from Rush, does a guitar version of Little Drummer Boy. And it was on an album called like Merry Axemas, like axes and electric guitar axe. But I can never find it. I might have it somewhere, but I really like that because it's kind of a cool version of it.
Well, good. There's some on here that I need to add to our biggest list.
Yeah.
So you can have your favorites as well.
I mean, there's, Christmas songs are like almost every band has like a Christmas album.
Right.
Everybody does a Christmas album or is part of a Christmas album.
Yeah.
Various artists and stuff. But
it's really hard to narrow it down to 5. I remember when I worked at Doctor's Urgent Care, there was an Andy Williams version of Oh Shoot. I know you know the song. I'm not prepared. This is coming off the top of my head, but we had really minimal technical abilities, but I was able to figure out how to put an on hold message, and it just kept playing like the first 7 lines of Andy Williams' song. Why can't I think of what it is right now? Anyway.
Like, is it a typical? Like
yeah.
Like a White Christmas or Christmas song? Or,
yeah, it's a Christmas song.
No, like the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, Jack Frost, Nipping at Your Nose. It's the holiday season.
I'd have to hear it. I don't remember. I don't think that was it. But
I'm going through some of his.
Anyway, it
Christmas
was.
albums.
I thought about putting that on there
Christmas.
because it becomes with such sweet memories of my time with Dr. Surgeon Care. But the thing about Christmas music is it brings you back to a place and time, and it warms the cockles of your heart. So I think that's the wonder of Christmas, really, is all the memories. And we're not putting a tree up this year, which I already miss, but because we're going to go away. But hanging all the ornaments on the tree and everything, and thinking about all the memories.
Okay, don't cry over there.
I'm not. I just need you to chime in so I don't have to talk anymore. Anyway.
No, I mean,
this is supposed to be upbeat and happy, and it is. Christmas should be happy. Thanksgiving should be happy. I know it's difficult for a lot of people because of empty seats at the table, and it's been a hard November, but we're here, and we are looking forward to putting on our armor and fighting for what's right, and holding our country close to us.
Right. Yep. So let's see. We're gonna be gone next weekend. We're going back to, speaking of family, we're going to be going back for a 50th birthday party. So maybe we'll have some stories to tell when we get back from that. And Major Award will make an appearance, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. I guess we might have to pry that little plaque off the bottom of it, though.
In Raleigh, North Kakalaka.
Right.
And maybe we'll tell some stories, some things that I've seen and learned, and from being on the hunt for a new job. We'll talk about some of the ridiculousness that's out there.
Yeah.
I have had one interview, so we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah. We're hopeful.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Ready to wrap it up?
Yep.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed another episode, and we will see you in about a week we're going to be gone next weekend, so sometime in the following week.
Yeah.
So if you're holding out, it's going to be a little bit off. We're a little off schedule now, but we're going to try to. Maybe that'll be our New Year's resolution. We're going to do this.
I don't know. Life happens
on a regular basis. Yeah, that's it. All right, y'all. Well, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you soon. Bye now.
Fellow babies, and now it's time to go to our live remote man on the scene at the Pinedale Shopping Mall for the big WKRP turkey giveaway. So, take it away, Les Nessman.
This is Les Nessman, your man on the scene here at the Pinedale Shopping Center, where the excitement is mounting. We're here to witness the big WKRP turkey Thanksgiving giveaway.
Hey, you got permission to be out here?
What?
You're blocking my store here, buddy.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Les Nessman. I won the Buckeye News Hawk Award last year.
Good for you, Buckeye. Now get out of my doorway.
I'm sorry. Creep.
So far, so good, huh?
I'm here with hundreds of people who have gathered to witness what has been described as perhaps the greatest turkey event in Thanksgiving Day history. All we know for sure is that in a very few moments there are going to be a lot of happy people out here. Now, the crowd is curious, but well-behaved. And I think I hear something now. The crowd is moving out into the parking area. And, oh yes, I can see it now. It's a helicopter. And it's coming this way.
A helicopter?
It's flying something behind it. I can't quite make it out. It's a large banner, and it says, Happy Thanksgiving. From W. What a sight, ladies and gentlemen, what a sight. The copter seems to be circling the parking area now. I guess it's looking for a place to land. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object, perhaps a skydiver, plummeting to the earth from only 2,000 feet into the air. Second to the third. There's no parachutes yet.
Can't be skydivers. I can't tell just yet what they are, but...
Oh, my God, they're turkeys! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes! One just went through the windshield of a parked car! Johnny, this is terrible. The cars running around, pushing each other? Oh, my goodness! Oh, the humanity! Oh, people are running about. The turkeys are hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement. See, folks, I don't know how much longer the crowd is running for their lives. I think I'm going to step inside. I can't stay out here and watch this any longer. No, I can't go in there.
Children are searching for their mothers, and, not since the Hindenburg tragedy has there been anything like this. I don't know how much longer I can hold my position here, Johnny. The crowd...
Les, are you there? Les isn't there. Thanks for that on-the-spot report, Les. For those of you who just tuned in, the Pinedale Shopping Mall has just been bombed with live turkey. Film at 11.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.